Aram with me today, and we are going to be discussing mental health, bodily health, boudoir. We're just going to have a fun conversation today, and this is another episode of Behind Closed Doors Self-Love Unfiltered. Okay, so Aram, let's talk about why you were hesitant to book a boudoir shoot.
So I guess the first answer is I really didn't know anything about boudoir. I just thought it was just getting in lingerie and getting sexy, and that was the end of it. I guess for me it was a very superficial thing almost. And then on a deeper level, it scared me a lot. I'm sure that's very common.
Yes.
I have had a bad relationship with my body my whole life. And it's just not an area that I wanted to, it's not a bear that I wanted to poke, so to speak. And so it just never crossed my mind that was for me. That's something that I could do.
How did you find me?
So I found you through a friend of mine that I powerlift with, Tori.
Mm-hmm.
She is someone I looked up to. She's been through a lot. And she's overcome, and she did a boudoir shoot with you, and she looked beautiful and strong, and I just loved that, and something in me wanted that for me too. So
I love that. I love Tori so much. Tori's my girl. I need to actually have her come and sit on this couch now that you bring up that she's been through a lot. She has, and that would be a really good conversation to have with her. The first time that you had your shoot with me was that was your very first time, like ever, right? So I remember when we were shooting, and then I went to show you like the first little set of pictures that we had of you, and you started to tear up, and I was just like, oh my God, is her making me tear up? And that is like a core memory that I have that I cherish that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made a difference today.
Yeah.
It's making me tear up just thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, today was a really good day. Talk about all of those big feelings that you get while you're going through this, and then you get to see those little sneak peek images behind the camera.
Sure. So I think it's because everything that I felt even from a little girl to a preteen and a teenager just kind of shattered, and I think I had just been waiting for that moment to happen, and I was holding on to that self-hate, that feeling of not being good enough, not being pretty enough. I'm not a Victoria's Secret model. I'm not skinny enough. My boobs aren't up here, and I think as women we carry that around like near constantly, like all day in some form or fashion, whether we realize it or not. And when you showed me those pictures, and it just pulled the rug right out from underneath all those negative thoughts and all that self-hate that I had, and I basically realized, like, this is real, like this is me, this is what I look like, unedited, raw. I'm beautiful. These thoughts can't win. And
I love that so much.
It was just a big victory for me. I feel like, the first taste of victory of self-love. So
you've had multiple shoots with me since then. We just did a Christmas shoot last week, and we got some really good stuff. I'm still editing, and I cannot wait to show you the rest of them. You've had some health stuff going on. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So sort of two pieces to it. So I've always struggled with like mental illness, mental disorder. It runs in my family. I went to therapy for 10 years. I am in remission with everything, but I think that's a very large piece of my body problems. I've got body dysmorphia. I did struggle with disordered eating for a while. And so that was a big piece that I brought with me. And leaving here, I was like able to apply this photo shoot to my day-to-day life with that body dysmorphia and that sort of nagging urge of disordered eating, because it was just, that piece of it was very hard to shake. You know, being in the kitchen, looking through the fridge, you know, you have a bug in your ear, sort of saying like, well, you don't need those Oreos, or
Right.
you know, and I don't know, it's just a monkey on my back all the way up to that shoot, and walking away from it, I had basically hard evidence to tell those thoughts and those disordered thoughts and those disordered urges. No, like, you know, you can kick rocks.
Right.
I'm beautiful.
Yes.
Another thing I'm going through right now is I've had trouble with like joint swelling, rashes all over my body and across my face. My hands swell really bad. Like they get thick, sausagey looking, manly. My hair is thin, and so it's been flaring on and off the last like 5 years, and I have a lot of, like, my aunts struggle with autoimmune issues, and so I'm supposed to see a rheumatologist here soon, but I've been coming to terms with the fact that my body is changing at a very young age, and recently very rapidly. And so that's a new obstacle that I'm trying to work with. You know, like, is this a part of my identity? Is it all in my head? Am I faking this? Am I blowing it out of proportion? How is this going to change the way I look? You know, is this going to make me less womanly? Is this going to make me less sexy? Make me less attractive?
Right. Which it's not.
And I feel like I felt that in my boudoir shoot. I mean, because this time of year stresses me out extra. And of course, stress will make things flare up. And I mean, when we did our shoot, I said, you know, oh, my knee, I got a twinge. And, you know, we powered through it, got some amazing shots. And even though I get my hands swell and my nails are brittle and, you know, my skin is red and patchy and uneven and rashy, and I still walked away from that like, I don't think that there's a thing that I could walk in here and something be going on with me, and, you know, a boudoir shoot won't just make me feel better, you know? I mean,
yeah. That's definitely, I feel like that's definitely something that, when you think boudoir, you don't think of things like that. You, like, when we started the conversation, you thought it's something shallow, or it's getting in just sexy lingerie. And that's something that I want to continue to preach, is that it's not just that. It's not just sexy photos. A lot of times when women inquire or we have conversations, they bring up that they don't have anyone to do this for. You do this for yourself.
Right.
Even if you're doing it for someone else, at the end of the day, you are getting the gift out of this. This, at the end of the day, is for you. So I love that you said that you had hard evidence from your shoot for all those negative thoughts, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, even for me, I have my own personal struggles since I was a little girl, and I hate that most of us women have all those thoughts starting at very young ages. Like, that's sick to think about, that at, you know, 4 or 5 years old, that you're looking in the mirror and judging yourself and the way that you look.
Right.
So you saying that you had hard evidence, like, I might actually use that and put it on a shirt or something, because I love that, because I'm sitting here going, yes, I have hard evidence of that too.
Exactly. I know. I have these pictures saved on my phone in its own album, and I mean, I love walking around knowing like I have a little treat in my pocket of myself that I know is there, and you just kind of have a spring in your step throughout your day. And then if I wake up and have a bad, you know, I'm extra down on myself, if I want to, you know, open that album and start flipping through those pictures, I'm like, no, I'm a hot girl.
Yeah,
it's hot girl summer.
That's right. up here at your Christmas shoot last week, you said to me, we are allowed to love ourselves. We are allowed to feel pretty. And I loved that you said that because I don't understand how anyone could think that we're not allowed to do those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that goes back into kind of what I said, where at first I thought that a boudoir shoot was superficial. And that's a big lesson I've been learning as I've gotten older in the last couple of years is we don't need to justify to anyone why we do things that are, beauty driven or cosmetic or aesthetic or feeling attracted to ourselves or finding ourselves attractive or sexy or whatever. We're allowed to wake up and, and feel pretty and like what we see in the mirror, and that be the end of it. It doesn't need to be, well, I am having these autoimmune issues and therefore, I want to feel prettier. Or, I don't think women always need to have something going on to want to feel beautiful. That's
right.
a good enough, just wanting to be beautiful and feel beautiful is enough. That's enough of a reason, and we're allowed to feel that way.
100%. I love that you said that because I feel like too, when we're sitting here having these conversations and people are going to come and they're going to watch this, I don't want anyone feeling like, well, I don't have any of that, so maybe that's not for me. You don't have to have anything going on other than I just want to feel good. I want to feel pretty. I want to have my hair and makeup done. Come and do those things.
Yeah.
If not with me, do it with someone else.
Yeah.
Because I am maybe I am not the photographer for you. My style is different from the photographer across the street. It's different from the person who is a few cities away. If there is someone that you gravitate more towards, then go book with that photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much a community over competition person.
Yeah.
And I stand by my message. I want everyone to experience this. I want everyone to feel good about themselves. So if not with me, book with someone. I mean, even if someone were to message me and be like, I don't really feel like your vibe fits what I'm going for, could you recommend someone? I have a list of friends that do boudoir photography, and I can recommend someone. But I love that you brought up that you do not have to have a reason other than you want to feel beautiful.
Yeah, it's not a vanity thing. I think every woman deserves to feel beautiful, think that they're beautiful, love themselves, and that is reason enough. There doesn't need to be anything else. And it's taking care of yourself. Yes. It helps with feelings of insecurity and your self-esteem and your confidence, and you don't need to have a mental health disorder or illness or anything like that. You have to nurture your sense of, your self-esteem, and that reflects in, like I've said, it reflects in your day-to-day life. So
110%. Coming into 2024, do you have any set goals for yourself that you're going to go after?
I think, actually, a big one is I don't want to put energy into things that are only going to continuously suck away that energy. I want to make my energy an investment into something that, sure, maybe serving, someone else or something better, but I'm also going to be able to, get that energy back or feed myself or walk away better for it.
Right.
No more of this savior type thing where I'm running myself into the ground and then crawling away with nothing left in return. So
that's an awesome goal. That's amazing. I myself am super guilty. Not so much recently, but back in the day I was very much let me pour into everyone else's cup when I had nothing in mine. And I think it's so important to fill your own cup before you start pouring into others. That's something that has been very hard for me to do. I don't know if it's hard for a lot of people, but I know that it is super hard for me to care of my own self before I take care of others. Ever since I was a kid, I've just always been, let me take care of all of those around me. My feelings don't matter. And so I love that you are going into 2024, putting yourself first. And I'm here to support that. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how this is a gift for yourself that gets more valuable over time.
Another thing that really made me pull the trigger coming in to doing my first boudoir shoot with you was I was stuck in this cycle of, I was looking back at pictures of myself from years ago and at that point seeing truly how beautiful I was, or damn, I look good in that picture. But years ago, when I was having that picture taken, I felt so ugly and felt so inadequate, and it got old after a while. Looking at pictures of, like, getting a picture taken, feeling ugly, feeling inadequate. A few years go by, I look at the picture again, and I think, what was I thinking? I was just sick of being in that pattern, and I knew if I do these pictures now, I know that I will be looking back at them over time and being so happy that I did them. I did not want to wake up at 50, 60 years old and look back at myself at 28 or 29 years old and regret not doing something like a boudoir shoot.
Right.
For myself. And to me, staying in that cycle was also sort of letting that negative way of thinking, allowing it to win. And so I dove in, trusted the process, and I knew this is an investment. I'm going to look at these and be blown away. And
I love that. I didn't do my first one until I was 32. I am 38 now. I wish I had known that this was like a thing back in my 20s. I probably would have done it sooner. I always wanted to, you brought this up before with me, talking about being the girl in the magazine, being the Victoria's Secret angel. That was like huge in the 90s.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be one of the angels, or wanted to be one of the girls that was in the Playboy magazine, and I never felt like that could ever be me. So I gravitated towards take pictures of all the pretty girls. My late teenage years and my early 20s, I was like, I want to be a photographer for Playboy one day. Like, that would be so cool to work with all those beautiful women. And now I'm like, what? Like, that still would be really cool. I would still really love that. But now I'm like, I can be the girl in the magazine. Like, let me show you. I'm going to show other women that they can be the girl in the magazine.
I can do both.
Yeah, 110%. I feel like, too, growing up, you're kind of taught, like, and I'm sure a lot of women can relate to this, you're taught to stay in one lane. Find the one thing that you should do or can do as a woman. And my dad growing up, a little bit of a sexist. He was very much maybe you should be a teacher, or maybe you should be a nurse. My grandmother wanted me to be a nurse or work in computers, because that's sort of being a big thing in the 90s. But I never had, like, my heart wasn't in those things. And my dad gave me a camera when I was 7. And from that moment on, I don't know what it was, but I just loved taking pictures of random things, people. I took pictures of my family growing up, like, all the freaking time with disposable cameras. But I don't know. Being where I'm at today, I wish that I had that opportunity to do that in my early 20s, so that I had all of that. I'm grateful that I had it for my early 30s, and now I'm going to have them through my 40s and my 50s. And yesterday I had a shoot with a woman who was 70.
Nice.
And it was her very first boudoir shoot.
That is awesome. I love that.
Yes. I went home and I was like, she waited her whole life and picked me. I was like, I feel so good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, and then I showed her pictures behind the camera too, and she had the same response. She was like, "Oh my God, these are beautiful."
Yes.
And then I sent her some sneak peeks yesterday on their Christmas present for someone, and I'm like, "Well, he gets an added benefit to this." I was like, "But really, they're for you." And she was just beaming ear to ear, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, and I mean, you said 70 years old? That's awesome. I just, I went through the same thing with the Victoria's Secret model catalogs, like swiping through, seeing all those models, and then looking at my body, seeing their body, doing some math in my head and thinking, well, I must not be good enough because I don't look like them. And I mean, had I not broken out, I feel like that very well I could have gone my whole life feeling that way. And another reason I cried with my first shoot is I saw those pictures and I felt as beautiful as those models because I was beautiful in my own way as Aram. Not because I was being forced to achieve this mold that isn't real, but because I'm like, no, I am as beautiful as they are, as me.
That's right.
So
let's talk about celebrating your shoot and posting the pictures from your shoot. The good thoughts and the bad thoughts with this.
Yes. So having this shoot done was very cathartic for me, because I didn't realize just how much I was carrying around, and how tightly I was carrying around those negative thoughts and emotions and beliefs about myself. And all of that came crashing down and broke apart when I did the shoot, and then months after, and as I grew to see this new side of me that I didn't even know was there, and that I embraced, and I had this newfound, this bolstered new confidence and self-esteem, and insecurities that I had for over a decade have begun to dissolve and have dissolved away. And I've now I want to post these pictures online. Like I've been, trying to figure out how I want to go about doing that, and thinking about, okay, is this going to be in poor taste? Is this going to offend anyone? Are people going to think differently of me? And I'm just kind of at a point where it's just like, I'm celebrating this. I am, exalting in this newfound piece of me that I didn't even know was there, that I was capable of producing. And it's just something that I want to put out there and be proud of.
I love that. I feel like a lot of women that come and have these shoots done, they struggle, and myself included, with all of those feelings of, if I post this, who am I going to offend? Is it going to be in poor taste? Am I going to hear this down the grapevine later about how I posted these and I shouldn't have?
Yes.
I feel like that if you want to celebrate who you are and how beautiful you are, and you want to share that, then you go do that. That is your feed, your account. If someone doesn't like it, they can go unfollow you.
Yeah.
If they don't want to see it. I used to be super concerned with what I was posting from my business page onto my private page. And now I'm sharing all the time, the blog articles or the videos. I'm like, this is something that I truly believe in. It's something that I preach all the time, and I should not be ashamed of that at all. I want to help change the social setting and the stigma that is around this. This is not pornography. A lot of people want to correlate the two, and they're not the same at all. We do things very tasteful. We get very spicy, but it is not that. And I encourage anyone that feels like they want to post a picture from their photo shoot because they feel good to do so. I'm not saying that you have to. I understand wanting to keep things private. Not everyone thinks or feels the same. If you want to keep them private, then do so. I encourage that also.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do post the picture from the shoot that you're feeling so good about, and other people get on there and they start confirming everything that you have just learned about yourself, it feels so good.
Yeah.
So good. I think you should do it. I think you should post anything that you want to post.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one on there to be like, hell yes, Aram.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like also with this, it starts to change different things about you. So it changes basically who you are as a person. You go from all these negative, intrusive thoughts to being a more confident person. You're not the same person at home that you were before this happened. Mm-hmm. That is a fact. I went from wearing pajamas all of the time, not taking care of myself. I wasn't washing my hair. Like, I mean, it was bad. I was not taking care of myself when I had postpartum depression. So I never in a million years would have worn leggings at home, let alone out in public, because I didn't feel good about myself. And that affected my marriage. I mean, you sit there and you think all of these intrusive, terrible thoughts about yourself, not really paying attention or realizing, at least not for me, how it's affecting those around you. Now that I feel more confident in myself, it has affected my marriage in a positive way. It's affected me as being a mother. I am much more happy around the boys rather than just being blah. If that makes sense. Yeah,
you don't realize how much it permeates, like, you know, those tentacles of negative thoughts have a very far reach into different aspects of your life, and how much they can taint various aspects of your day-to-day living. I mean, when I, you know, months after doing the first shoot with you in February, you know, I could see myself slowly changing into, you know, a more confident, you know, more secure woman. And I, like, for example, I was really bad about hiding underneath, you know, extra large shirts and massive sweatpants, which are still comfortable, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the reason I was not, like, dressing in certain even clothing that I would buy was because I was trying to hide. You know, I didn't want to see myself. I didn't want others to see me. Even if I was alone on my couch. Just, it was about, how can I hide this ugliness that I feel? And then after this shoot, I went out and I bought a little pajama crop top and, like, pajama, still stretchy and comfy, but, like, flattering pajama bottoms. And I mean, my relationship with my boyfriend now is, I feel like, grown so much more than it, or faster than maybe it otherwise would have, because I'm approaching it now as a different person, a person more secure, more confident, you know, with stronger self-love. I mean, so I'll even walk into work and walk in totally chin up, held high, like, well, they don't know what I'm packing underneath these scrubs, you know, and
I love that so much. That's funny.
So
I love that so much.
It really does. It doesn't seem like it. It just, you know, at first glance, I really thought this was such a superficial thing, but it's something that, secondary to these shoots, it planted a seed of something I didn't know was there, and has grown and affected so many aspects of my life.
I love that.
And that's what I want to celebrate and post.
I love it. I'm here for it. I support it 110%. When you do that, I want you to tag me in it.
Okay.
So that way I can be like, yes, ma'am.
Every time. Be on the lookout. Ma'am. They're coming.
I freaking love it. I share a lot of your images that don't have your face in them, that you told me I could share. I post them all the time. Your outfit was fire. You're just perfection.
Oh, so stop it.
You're perfect.
Thank you. you.
You are a dream client.
I know.
You came in with a good attitude. You have a great personality on top of just being beautiful. Like, you're just a beautiful human being, not just physically attractive.
I'm glad I found you because, I mean, you helped bring that out.
Aww.
And we're trying to get all these other wonderful ladies out here to see it too.
Yes, 110%. I want to change the narrative, and I want to change how women are seen. I want to change maybe what is and isn't acceptable from a woman. I feel like early on you're taught to just stay in your lane, and no.
Yeah.
We can do what we want. We can wear what we want. I feel like as long as you're not hurting somebody else, then do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Wear what you want to wear. That's what makes you happier and feel good.
Yeah. Well, and this part of you is acceptable. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing that you need to hide. I mean, if you want to keep it to yourself in private for you, and that's your decision, fine, absolutely. But I'm tired of this, like, I need to hide away for other people.
Right.
You know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being sexy or beautiful in this way, or embracing yourself, or being proud of yourself, and shouting at the rooftops, or saying it even if your voice is a little shaky, because we all need that so much.
Do not be ashamed of this part of yourself. I love that.
I think another thing that's really important about a boudoir shoot is, and not only putting it out there and celebrating it and bolstering other women up, is that, a much deeper element of this is, the shame behind sexuality that society puts on all of us, and women in particular. And that can manifest as something as common and everyday as, like, issues with insecurity or low self-esteem, all the way up to shame with sexual assault and the sexual trauma that people have been through. And I think it's important, if we can get over shaming things like, or feeling like things like a boudoir shoot is distasteful or potentially offensive, that kind of helps to chip away at things like underreporting with sexual assault, or shame around it, or needing to feel like you have to hide it, or it's the victim's fault.
I think so. Eventually, my boys are going to discover my Instagram and my business page, and they're going to know what mom does for a living. Right now, they just know that I lock myself in the bedroom sometimes and I'm editing privacy photos. But when that day comes and they do discover what I do, I hope that they're not ashamed or embarrassed by it. I hope that me and their dad both have taught and are teaching them that women can embrace who they are, that they can wear something that makes them feel good, that they can wear that crop top or a skirt or a piece of lingerie and take pictures in it and share it, and it not be something that is distasteful or even villainized, that it's something that is therapeutic for them. It makes them feel good, so that when they do meet that partner that they're wanting to be with, that they help encourage them to be themselves, to wear what they want to wear, to feel beautiful, to feel good. And I really hope that me and my husband are raising boys who are going to change the tone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's super, super important. And I really feel that this whole, she shouldn't wear that because she looks a certain way, or she's a certain weight, so she shouldn't wear a crop top. I feel like all that needs to go away. If you don't like it, don't look at it. Like, just keep the negativity to yourself. because some of us want to be out here living our best life.
Yeah.
You only got one life.
Too short.
It's a short one. Do what you want to do, wear what you want to wear, be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You can be anybody in this world, and it doesn't matter if you change who that is tomorrow or today. Be who you want to be, because life is short, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is something like a boudoir shoot. It's fun. It's, it's light. It has such a profound effect. It is not the thing to be getting wound up about.
Right.
And having a cow over, or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And your boys are going to be awesome. They have awesome parents.
Thank you.
And this is the sort of thing that's, we need to normalize it because it's helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and
I have some women who messaged me that are locally that want to do this, and then they get concerned about me sharing images.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell them, I don't share anything unless I have written permission to do so.
Yeah.
It not just covers me legally, but I respect everyone's point of view and their privacy. If
Mm-hmm.
that's something they want to keep private, 110%, like no one will know you walked in the door. But a lot of times they're worried about what the locals are going to say or think, and it's usually they're worried about other women.
Yeah.
And I usually tell them, I guarantee you whoever you're worried about has already sat in my chair. I photographed so many locals,
Mm-hmm.
so many. So I'm just like, don't be worried about what someone else thinks, because behind closed doors, they're probably worried about the same thing, and or they've already done it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and I had some similar concerns too, and you were super awesome about of course, not gonna post your face, very accommodating to, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'll post this way, that way, how you like, how you want, whatever. So, which I really appreciate.
Good, you're welcome. I don't take photos so that I can blast them on the internet. That's not why I'm here. I do love sharing beautiful images, and I do get sad when I get such great photos and I can't share them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, it is so beautiful and I can't share it. It is heartbreaking for me. But it's just because it goes back to celebrating.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate you,
Mm-hmm.
and I want everyone to see how beautiful and amazing you are. And I want them to celebrate you too in the comments or messages. I want people to see you in all of your glory, and I want them to show you all that love that you've been missing.
Yeah.
Just confirming everything that we caught on a photograph.
Yeah, and that you finally see what they've been seeing this whole time.
Yes. 110%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming today and sitting with me and us having a conversation.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This has been another great episode on Behind Closed Doors Self-Love Unfiltered. If you are not following my socials, you can do so by going to www.studio323ok.com. I have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Follow all of the things so that you don't miss out on any of my content.